Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Lebanon Board of Works meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, now we'll move on to the roll call of members. Madam Clerk will call the roll.
Sure. Mayor Gentry?
Present.
Jane Taylor?
Present.
Bill Stoner?
Present.
Dick Robertson?
Present.
Alan Milburn?
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, we are all in attendance. We'll move on to the approval of the minutes now. Any changes, corrections, additions to the minutes from our previous meeting? Okay, at this time we entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion we approve the minutes.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, minutes are approved. First item up we have is the Police Department report. Chief Wormuth.
Good evening, everyone. During the period between July 7th and today's date of July 23rd, the Lebanon Police Department responded to 744 calls for service. A total of 32 persons were arrested for the following crimes: 6 for operating while intoxicated, 6 for possession of meth, 5 for possession of marijuana, 5 wanted on a warrant, 2 for auto theft, 2 for driving while suspended, 1 habitual traffic violator, 1 for fraud, 1 for public intoxication, 1 for disorderly conduct, 1 for intimidation, and 1 for domestic battery. Our office issued 6 handgun carry licenses. Assistant Chief Bailey and Officer James Kuntz, our 2 DARE officers, attended the annual DARE conference in Orlando, Florida, July 9th through the 13th. Also on July 9th through the 13th, our own police chaplain, Terry Thorne, attended the annual International Conference of Police Chaplains in Lexington, Kentucky. And during this conference, she attended specialized training in law enforcement suicide prevention. On July 19th, the Lebanon Police Department hosted a luncheon on our station with all of the Boone County's chiefs of police and members of their command staff, as well as staff from the prosecutor's office, state police, and we also had the Department of Natural Resources Conservation Officer, Sergeant there for our area. That's all I have to report at this time.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for the Chief from the board? Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next up is Deputy Chief Baird with the Fire Department.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Works. Since the last Board of Works meeting, the Fire Department has made 117 emergency calls of service. We've logged 124 training hours. We've performed 24 commercial fire inspections. We've installed 2 car seats and participated in 2 public education events. We'd like to thank Kevin Krulik and the Planning Department for their assistance in preparing a drainage plan for our basement fire simulator at the training tower. This week, crews will be working all week at the Boone County Fairgrounds. LFD coordinates fire coverage for the whole entire North Track events. And then locution update. All the software is currently being interfaced with 911 CAD system. The goal is to begin locution testing in late August and complete the project in September. And
Great.
That's all I've got.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief Baird? Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, next up, Parks Department, John Messenger.
Good evening. The Battle of the Barbecue is coming up. It will be held on Saturday, August 11th from 5 to 7, and that's going to be held back at the Joe Memorial, Joe Habush Memorial Shelter. The bandstand there where we used to have it. Last couple of years we've had it by the Memorial Shelter, anticipating a bunch of groups, so hopefully everybody can get in there. I also have a band this year, so it ought to be nice, entertaining. Other than Roy Flannery, it isn't going to be him. I think they're actually paying some bucks to get another band in there, but looking forward to that. On Saturday, August 18th, we will host our mother-son superhero party. Price is $10 for mother-son couple, and the event will be held from 5 to 8. Captain America, Spider-Man, and Batman will be at Memorial Park. The kids will be enjoying Kona ice, hot dogs, and games, face painting with the moms or mother figures and their sons. There will be it will be held over by the large memorial shelter and the cabin. So looking forward to that. It's the first time we've ever had this event and quite a big outpouring for it, so looking forward to it. Fright Force will be here before we know it also. That event will run from October 25th through the 27th. It's held at the trail at Abner Longley Park at the Nature Center, and we sure could use volunteers. We have about 50, I think, but we could use a lot more. Anybody that wants to put in a scene, we do a little background check, and as far as that, have them sign a waiver, and we're looking forward to have some more scary scenes out there. The United Methodist Church of Boone County is hosting their annual back-to-school bash at our Seashore Water Park this Sunday. There will be a cookout at Memorial Shelter House at 5 p.m. and swimming starts at 6:30. This event is complimentary, it's free of charge, and open to the community, and we're hoping for a big turnout and dry weather. And that's all we had.
Thank you, John. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next up is Engineering Department, Kevin Krulik.
Good evening, board members. Update for tonight on a few of the engineering projects. East Street, as you know, it's pretty much wrapped up at this point, but there's a few miscellaneous repairs that continue to be done. A lot of things that you probably wouldn't notice unless you're looking real close, things like concrete patching and a few miscellaneous things of that nature, curb repairs, asphalt repairs. So things ongoing there on their punch list. I'm told by the contractor they probably have 2 to 4 weeks, depending on weather, to wrap up those repairs. And so we should be seeing that wrap up here shortly. And we're looking at a final change order for closeouts that we'll bring before you sometime around the end of that period. So I'd say, I don't know if it'll be ready for the next meeting, but the meeting after that, we'll have that final change order prepared that will, zero out all quantities in the contract and just put a bow around everything and be the last final, prepare us for the last final payment and closeout of that contract effort. But we'll wait until we get close to these repairs just to make sure we've got everything documented before we bring that before you, and that will tie up that project. The Northern Interchange Feasibility Study, last time we met, we presented that study to the council that evening. And so we've since started working with NDOT and Federal Highway Administration to try to secure funding for the next phases of that project, including design and or construction, as that might go forward. So that'll be an ongoing and lengthy process, but we'll keep you posted as that moves forward. Downtown Action Plan, obviously a lot going on there. I want to thank White Construction and their team for all the hard work that they're putting in. But work completed since we last met. All the water tie-ins on South Meridian Street are complete. Those are the water main tie-ins. Subgrade preparation continues to move forward. Water service crossovers on all the businesses on the south side of Main Street have been completed. The Silva cells, those underground tree wells for the tree root systems, have all been installed. And we are preparing for pouring concrete on our path and sidewalks along the buildings on the south side of Main Street. A few other things, the removal of the sidewalks adjacent to the buildings. We've held that off for as long as we can, but those were removed on Saturday and finished up today. We've got temporary stone back in place so that everyone can get to the businesses and get to those front doors. Stone, I will remind you, when it's compacted the way we've done it and we've built ramps accordingly, is an ADA accessible surface. So all those buildings are still ADA accessible, or at least to the extent that they were prior to construction. And we continue to, as I update every meeting, we continue to monitor seismic activity, and happy to report we've been no significant vibrations that would be causing any damage or need for concern of damage on our structural, from a structural standpoint around the square. Work expected in the next week. We are really on the home stretch now, the first phase. We're preparing to start laying pavers. They were originally scheduled to start going down this week. I provided you that update last time. We've since started reworking the phasing of the sidewalks, and we feel it's more important to probably get the sidewalks in before we start laying pavers. So where 2 weeks ago we were going to pour the concrete subslab for all the paver work, do the paver trail, and then fall back and do the sidewalks adjacent to the building, we are going to try to do all the concrete subslab work for the paver trail and the sidewalks adjacent to the building at the same time. And those pours are scheduled for tomorrow and Wednesday. So, and also Thursday. So sometime this week, weather pending, and the weather forecast looks good, we should have all the concrete done behind the road up against the buildings, and have their sidewalks back open for their use. And we're working with all the business owners to minimize the disruption there. But without a doubt, there will be a few hours as concrete cures that we'll have to keep people off of it. But we're trying to do early morning pours and try to have the sidewalks back open by 10 a.m. as we go through that process. And that will then free us up to start laying pavers on the trail and the street next week. So we'll wrap up all of our subgrade preparation and do that concrete this week, and then be ready to start seeing pavers go down next week. Again, remind everybody every week, but look for contractor updates, weekly emails. If you're not on their list, send me an email or call the planning department, and you can get on the email distribution list. We do turn around and publish those weekly emails on Facebook at the engineering department page. I also want to thank the Heart of Lebanon for all the work they're doing on the daily updates, trying to keep people informed as to what's going on. So look to them for updates as well. Feel free to call me anytime, and remind people just to continue to embrace the orange and support your downtown businesses as we go through this process, especially in the next couple weeks as we get these sidewalks replaced in front of their buildings. Moving on. Our roadway asset management plan and pavement ratings. We have completed our roadway asset management plan and filed that with the state. I thank Larry Lee and Atlanta Fairfield for their work on getting that report in and working with LTAP to get that completed. And that does set us up to begin bidding and pricing out street resurfacing projects for the year. Last meeting, I did ask for authorization to proceed with bidding on several streets. After going over the plan with Larry and Lana, I do have 3 additional streets that I would like authorization for. And we'll talk about that later, but that's Oak Street, Hamilton Street, and Sycamore Street. I'd like your authorization to pursue bidding and or quotes for those resurfacing projects as deemed necessary by Indiana Public Bid Law. No real update on Indianapolis Phase 2. That continues to Indianapolis Avenue Phase 2, that continues on the course for construction next year. Grant Street, again, we are looking to reconstruct Grant Street. We have a fiscal appropriation for year 22 by NDOT. We've received a favorable word from them that we are eligible for the exchange program to move that project up to 2021. And reviewing engineering firms last couple of weeks. The election kit, I can't think enough. That's there. Myself, Michael Susong from Lebanon Utilities, Alan Milborn from this body, as well as Mike Cade from Council. They've reviewed all of those letters of interest, and happy to report that based on the scoring sheets provided by NDOT, Butler, Fairman, and Seifert is the apparent winner of that project. Actually, all but one of the scores at first, and the other score them at second place. So, pretty solid consensus there from the team that Butler, Fairman, and Seifert is the firm to move that project forward. So, with that, I am seeking your authorization to move forward with a contract negotiation with Butler, Fairman, and Seifert, as well as seeking funding from NDOT for those design fees. Additional work, private work going on in the city. Riley Ridge, we held our pre-construction meeting on that 85-lot subdivision residential project last week, and we'll look for them to break ground in the coming days.
Okay.
So.
Any other, sorry, you complete? Are you good?
Nope, that's all I have for an update. I guess I would ask City Attorney Shine if we want to go ahead and, I'm sorry, we have the bid authorizations for the streets later in the agenda. Do we need an authorization for negotiations for Butler, Fairman, and Seifert on the Grant Street? Okay.
Okay,
So I would
we'll do
ask-
that when we do the streets.
Okay,
Okay,
very good.
great. Any questions from the board for Kevin? Any questions from the public? Okay,
Thank you all.
next up will be Planning Department, Ben Bontrager.
Good evening, board members. I've been on vacation for a week, so I've got an extremely abbreviated report for you this evening. Planning operations for the last couple of weeks, 47 additional building inspections were performed, and we had 21 permits issued, so we remained very busy. Makeda was out today, so I don't have an update on code enforcement operations, but I know she continues to be very busy on those items. I did want to note we have a new hire in the planning department. Her name is Lauren Gillingham. She's a recent graduate from the Ball State Urban Planning Program, and she's going to be assisting Makeda with code enforcement and stepping up some of those and be more proactive about code enforcement around the city, and then also helping me with some of the planning activities we're doing as well. So we're real happy to have her on board. One final note on the comprehensive plan, our first public engagement open house for the comprehensive plan is going to be July 31st. From 4:30 to 6:30 p.m., and that's going to be held at Lebanon High School in the study room. I've also been told it's called the Fish Bowl by folks locally. So we do encourage all residents who are interested to attend this open house sometime during that 2-hour time period, and that'll help them understand more about the process we're going to be going through, but then also to provide some input and ideas about the future of the city. So it is critical that we get folks to show up for these meetings, that these are very important to help to fill out the goals that we want to establish as part of that comprehensive planning process. And that's all I got for tonight.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Any questions from the board for Ben? Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, next up, Street Department, Larry Lee.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you, and board. Since the last 2 weeks, the Street Department has had 59 additional calls that we've responded to in a timely manner. 2 was for missed recycling. 9 calls were for dead animals, and I'm going to tell you, it was just not a small animal. We're getting a lot of deer hit out in the annexation area, so those have been pretty good sized animals. We've had a report on 2 stolen bicycles, which we picked up, 2 street signs that were knocked down and taken care of, and 44 calls on brush that we've been taken care of also. We received today the 124 new street signs. The post is here, along with all the brackets, and the last time we just talked about it, it's probably going to take us about 3.5, 4 weeks to put all these up. Those additions, it's going to be, the signs will be put up will be Morningside Subdivision, Edgewood Subdivision, Grant Street from the middle school out to the Indianapolis Avenue, and then we're going to finish we're going to go ahead and replace North Meridian Street from the Euland Drive clear out to Birchwood. Those will be all the new signs that has the tiger on them. So they really look pretty sharp. If you haven't seen them around the school, you need to go out and look at those. Those are neat. Also, the street department has been working with the street sweeper. If you remember right, we've got one that's coming up for bids eventually. We are desperate need for another new one, and that will be 2 sweepers for our street department. I was telling you, we put a street project together on streets, which usually takes us about a week to sweep the streets with 2 sweepers. It has taken 10 days to do all the subdivisions and streets with 1 sweeper. So that tells you how much work that's being done on the streets, keeping them clean. People like to clean streets, curbs, and things like that, so that's what we're doing. Also, I was able to get with the company today. We, on our Pazer program, And the projects that we work with LTAP, they always want to keep our new streets that we've paved a little bit better. We have a street that we paved a year ago on a low-volume street. This is a street that we worked on today and to see how it's going to work within the next 3 to 4 years. This is a bio-seal project with soybean and oils. So I'm not sure, I'm not a computer person.
Just put it up there and they can help you in the back.
Okay. Let's see if this...
Other way.
The other way.
Yep.
The other way, upside
Flip
down.
it over. Yep, there you go.
There you go.
Sorry. This is the truck that was putting that bio-seal down on a street. And believe it or not, it makes these older pavements look like a new street. And I'll show you here, that is actually named New Street down there between Pleasant and Walnut. So that was kind of neat to see. As you can see, the truck is use a vacuum, a blower. They blow the dust and stuff off the street prior to the seal. The seal is laid down. And I'll see if I can get, sorry. See the product here. Here's the older the street here, and then the product that's being put in wet. It takes about 4 hours to dry. The other product that we've used before is a product from Reclamite, and that product is used just about like this, but they also put a gravel mixed substance on that, and it's actually a 53 limestone dust. So I'll show you what the finished product looked like. I thought it was pretty neat to see. That was about an hour and a half after it was laid in place, and it took about 6 hours to finish today because we always want sunlight and a little bit of wind. Today was kind of overcast and hope it wasn't going to rain. But if you go down in that area, and we had a couple of people out checking it out and thought, man, everything smelled like pledge dust, you know, when you're just cleaning furniture. So they were excited to see that, and I'm kind of excited to see it because what we want to do is keep our roads even better, even though the ones we pave. So that's all I've got to report on.
Okay, thank you very much, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
Any other questions for Larry from the board? Any questions for the public? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next up is Communications Community Development. Joe LePage.
Good evening, everyone. Hopefully everyone's recovered from a busy July in Boone County and Lebanon specifically. That gets us ready for some events, some great events coming up in August. John alluded to Battle of the Barbecue on August 11th, but 1 week earlier is the annual Soda Pop Festival that's hosted by Periwinkle Soda Pop and Candy Shop, and that'll be downtown right by the library. Then later on in the month is the third annual Oktoberfest event. We know it'll be downtown, but we're not sure exactly where. But that'll be August 25th. Polka Boy is the musical guest this year. All weekly events from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. is Lebanon City Market. The rain is certainly helping today, and past rains have helped crops as well. Really seeing a lot of return customers, which is what you want to see in a farmer's market. A large contingency of vendors as well. It's been a really good season so far. We look forward to that continuing. Again, that's every Friday. We say it's under the big red roof, but it is the collaborative space, the former Estes and Kincaid Auto Building there on Lebanon Street. Also, our newsletter comes up and will be released on August 1st. Any content that you have can be sent to info@lebanon.in.gov. We're happy to put that on not only our website, but the newsletter as well. And that goes out online to roughly 4,500 subscribers, and that's all free of charge, of course. That email address, again, info@lebanon.in.gov.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Any other questions for Joe from the board? Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, and last but not least, Stormwater Department, Dave Newell.
How you doing tonight? Well, we survived the rain earlier, but we've had 15 calls since our last one. What, the 9th, I believe it was. Keep up our weekly inspections, especially tomorrow after this rain. Heavy rain, we'll have to go around, check our new facilities. We have repaired 4 catch basins since our last meeting, so we're still going on that. And we continue to clean them. throughout the city. I got Eco Infrastructure cleaned a couple for us as well, so.
How's the new vac truck working for you?
It's working good. They actually borrowed it back to take it for a demo up in Chicago, so
Okay.
we're going to bill them for that, but no. But yeah, it works great.
Great. Any questions, other questions for Dave? Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes department head reports. We'll move on to old business. The item I have here is the unit bid selection for sand, oil and grease, concrete, and then also asphalt. So I guess Kevin and Larry. We opened the bids at our last meeting, so then now we'll be selecting the bid winners.
What I have here is
I'll just pass it down. You have a mail pass it down.
what I just passed out, and I will attempt to put this on the overhead here, would be the bid tab of the bids that we opened a week ago. Essentially, although we opened several bids, the way they were able to bid on certain line items in the bid package essentially puts us in a situation where we don't have a whole lot to compare. So what we have is a bid submitted by Milestone, and their prices here are all in the asphalt category, and that's the top line. So they submitted a price for number 9 binder, $50 per ton. Number 8 binder, $47 per ton. Number 5 base, $45.25 per ton. Number 11 surface, $55.25 per ton. And then winter mix, I say in place, but that's actually, what I mean by that is that's if we go pick it up at their plant, $119 a ton. And then winter mix, if it's delivered to us, $130 a ton. All of these are bulk material prices. They did not submit any placement prices for these. But on that note, we have our second bid that we opened up from Triangle Asphalt Paving Corporation, local contractor most of us are familiar with. They've submitted prices here for 2 types of binder and 2 types of surface, as well as the bituminous liquid. And these prices include not just the material, but the milling of the existing street and the placement of the material. So we have 2 different sizes of binder, and the number 8 and number 9, that's just refers to the size of rock that's used in the asphalt mixture. $73 each per ton, that is milling the existing street and placing that material. And then 2 prices for surface, number 9 surface and number 11 surface. One is just a little finer than the other. Again, the number refers to the stone size, both at $75 per ton, milled, placed, compacted, and finished. And then they also submitted a price on the bituminous liquid at $5 per gallon. So again, there's not any overlap here. The Milestone bid is for material that would be purchased by the city, and the Triangle Asphalt bid is for material that would be placed by the contractor. So that's material purchased and placed. We have one other Calumet civil contractor submitted a bid, again for the placing of number 9 binder and number 11 surface. Quite a bit more expensive than our friends at Triangle at $215 per ton. Moving on, we had one bid related to concrete from Wilson Concrete Construction. Again, Joe Wilson, a local contractor here in Lebanon. This is our only bid for concrete work at $10.20 per square foot for sidewalks and $10 even per square foot for ADA accessible, ADA ramps, ADA compliant ramps, excuse me.
And that includes the labor as well, right?
This includes all labor, removal of existing sidewalks, finishing the subgrade, adding material to the subgrade as needed, forming, pouring, placing, backfill. It's all included in that price. So That is our price for square foot of sidewalk. And then the last one, we had one bid from Boone County Automotive. These are all related to our oil and grease line items. Again, there's no other competitors here that submitted proposals. The AW46 hydraulic fluid, 55-gallon drum, $405 per drum. The 15W40 oil, 55-gallon drum for $519.75. A tube of number 2 grease for $2.95. A tube of general purpose grease for $2.70. And then 2 prices for antifreeze. The per gallon price is $9.59, and the 55-gallon drum price is $450. So those are all the proposals that we had to open on the asphalt materials, concrete materials, and oil and grease. Again, I said there's not really any overlap other than Triangle and Calumet, and Triangle is clearly the lower price there. So we would recommend accepting all of these quotes with the exception of Calumet Civil Contractors, and pending legal review, binding the city per those contracts for materials.
Okay. Any questions for Kevin concerning these bids?
Kevin, you're going to recommend that we accept the Milestone Contractors price as well, even though it is just pickup only?
For materials.
We would, because it's just for pickup only. So Triangle only does delivery and placement. We can't, obviously, well, maybe it's not obvious to other people in the room, but Milestone has an asphalt plant where they make the material. So we will accept a Milestone bid for materials that we would go purchase. Again, it's on an as-needed basis. This just sets our unit price if we want to go pick up a ton of material for Larry and the crew to use.
Stuff like that.
Exactly. And then for patching that we would have done by a contractor, our only bid is from Triangle Asphalt. So that would be the pricing used for patching potholes, any repairs that we would do. We will be bidding separately or quoting separately our street resurfacing program, but this would establish unit prices to have Triangle do any of that patching that we wouldn't want to do in-house.
Their prices for in place, right? Paving
Yes,
in
their
place.
prices for milled existing surface, placing new surface, cleanup, all the things associated with it.
Okay, so this time I would entertain a motion to accept I'm going to do 4 separate motions here for everybody on the board. That we award the bid for asphalt patching materials to Milestone would be the first motion. Anyone want to make that motion for me?
I'll make a motion that we accept the bid from Milestone Contractors for plant pickup pricing.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the bid from Milestone for plant pickup pricing. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion a second. All those here say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that bid is awarded to Milestone Contractors. Now would accept a motion to award the bid for mill and install of asphalt patching materials from Triangle Asphalt.
I'll make a motion we accept a bid from Triangle Asphalt Paving Corporation for the milling and replacement asphalt.
Okay.
As well as bituminous material.
As well as bituminous material, okay.
Right.
So we have a motion to accept the bid, or award the bid for mill and install, as well as bituminous material from Triangle to Triangle Asphalt. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion, I think it was Alan, actually, that one. Motion a second. All those here say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, that bid has been awarded to Triangle Asphalt. Now we'll move on to motion to accept the bid, or award the bid for concrete work to Wilson Concrete Construction. There, motion, make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the concrete work for Wilson Concrete Construction.
Okay, we have a motion to award the bid to Wilson Concrete Construction. Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Motion and a second. All those here say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that bid has been awarded to Wilson Concrete Construction. And finally, would accept a motion to award the bid for hydraulic fluid, oil, grease, and antifreeze to Boone County Automotive.
I make a motion, we accept the bid for Boone County Automotive for hydraulic oil, grease,
Antifreeze.
and antifreeze.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, bid has been awarded to Boone County Automotive. Thank you, Kevin. I know that was a longer process than before, but I think we're getting it right, getting it done. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
All right, that concludes what I have on old business. Any other old business come before the board? Okay, with that, we'll move on to new business. First item up here is change order for downtown project and Big Four Trail. Change orders 1, 2, and 3. I believe this is still Kevin.
Absolutely, thank you. What I have here tonight for your consideration is 3 change orders, and I can provide you some copies of some background information here. Passes along as 1. This is 2. And 3. What I've just passed out to you is the cover sheet for these 3 proposed change orders. We have reviewed these with the contractor, reviewed these internally, reviewed these with our construction inspection firm, and feel as though these are fair and appropriate. Why don't I walk through and explain each one, and then I'll leave that up to the board as to how you would like to consider these options. Change order 1 is it covers an issue regarding the materials specified for conduits, for electric conduits, street lighting conduits, traffic control conduits that go under the pavement. Our plans called out for Schedule 40 conduits, and if you want to follow along, I'm reading the justification section, the text in the middle of the page there. The plans called out for Schedule 40 conduits. Per standard NDOT specifications, they would typically require Schedule 80 conduits. Most of our conduits do not go into NDOT right-of-way, but after review and discussions with the contractor, we would feel better if we switched all conduits to Schedule 80 conduits. It's just a heavier duty conduit material. It's the NDOT standard for conduits placed in the right-of-way. I see no reason why we wouldn't follow the same standard. Again, did not catch this throughout the bid documents, or we would have clarified this prior to bid award. It was only brought to our attention by the contractor afterwards, and we feel it is appropriate. So this change order before you outlines all the pluses and minuses and changes to the bid form to swap out all conduit material from Schedule 40 to Schedule 80. The net change to the contract is $1,784.72. Pretty minor on a $7 million contract.
So let's do these all individually. So any discussion concerning change order number 1? Okay, I would entertain a motion to accept change order number 1.
I move that we accept change order number 1 for
We have
the
motion to
downtown streetscape project.
We have a motion to accept. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, change order number 1 is approved.
Thank you. Moving on to change order number 2. This is the perfect kind of change order. This is a negative change order. This change order, again, I'm reading from the cover page of the change order document, middle of the page under justifications. Essentially, as we've been going through the design and working with the contractor, White Construction deserves some applause for this, that they brought to us a potential cost savings change order, and so we're happy to take advantage of that. It also helps with the constructability of the project. The project had a rather complicated curb and concrete access strip on the south side of the road. The access strip would be adjacent to your car when you would open your door, a place for you to step out onto. That would run between the curb and the appurtenance zone where the trees and signage and things like that would be before you get to the trail. So it required essentially 2 different concrete pours to make that work. And so in looking at this, we felt, and the contractor brought this to our attention, we felt as though it was a valid option to pour all that concrete instead of a curb with a separate sidewalk poured next to it. To pour that as all one integral curb, what I like to affectionately refer to as a super curb. This is a curb that is over 2 foot wide and 3 foot tall, and it's a solid piece of steel reinforced concrete. Provides a much more stable curb, a much more stable foundation for our Silva cells, and felt that this was the right thing to do. And again, the numbers, this was a credit to the contract of $10,232.43. If you're keeping track at home, that is a net change order now of negative $8,447.71 to the total contract. But the change order 2 before you right now is a negative change order in the amount of $10,232.43.
Any further questions for Kevin on why we should approve a negative change order? No.
I'll make a motion we approve change order number 2 in the amount of $10,232.43.
Of credit? It's a positive change order for the city.
It's a credit change order.
It's a credit change. Okay. We have a motion to approve change order number 2. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Change order number 2 is approved.
And last, but certainly not least, change order number 3. Again, I'm reading from the cover page of the change order. Again, all these, the documentation that we've provided has been approved by the engineering department as well as our construction inspection firm and White Construction. What this has to do with is the signal work, the traffic signals, the stoplights associated with the projects that we are proposing new stoplights on State Road 39 at Washington and at Main Street, and on State Road 32 at Meridian Street. Essentially, NDOT had not completed its review and approval of the project prior to issuance of the construction contract. We felt we had a good handle on what was on the plans. We had been following all NDOT standard design procedures and design manuals that have been published to date, but after the fact, they came back to us and indicated that they wanted a change to the design of those streetlight signal poles. So that was contingent on them continuing to bless our permits and move the project along, so we had to make these design changes after the contract. And so what this amounts to is the new redesigned traffic signal poles, which in most instances, the mast arms became longer because they wanted ability for future expansion of those traffic signal, the traffic stoplight operations, as well as with the increased mast arm, that created a larger moment on the foundation and required foundations to be upsized. So this is a total of $26,961.11. It's an add to the contract. The net add to the total contract with this project is $18,513.40. But change order 3 that is before you is for a total add to the contract of $26,961.11.
So just to clarify, we designed the plans to NDOT specifications, but NDOT then said they weren't good enough.
Exactly.
Okay, just want to make sure we're clear.
Yes,
on that. So,
a little frustrating.
Yeah.
We had followed the same. If you to get a bit of background, you might say, "Oh, is this the engineer's fault? Should they be paying this?" I don't believe so. I believe the engineer did all their diligence needed to design a proper project, and we had gotten feedback from NDOT that everything was in order. We had even followed, if you remember, NDOT was scheduled to replace these poles this year, and are participating in the cost of the project. With the cost that they had allocated to those new signals. So we had met all the same design criteria they had met, and it was after the fact. We know that does, but we would really like the mast arms a little longer, and that trickles down to larger foundations and things of that nature. To put it in perspective, this might seem like a lot of money. These foundations are over 6 foot in diameter and go down 24 feet into the ground. These are significant foundations to hold up these cantilevered poles. So that's why the cost increase is so significant.
I hate to ask Kevin, I've seen some of these and they're awful. They're all, I mean, yeah.
They're big.
Yeah, they're big. They're huge. They're just,
Yeah. If you keep in mind, you know, a decorative street light pole that you can see out that window or around
Yeah.
the municipal building, it's like that, but much
being-
larger scale.
you're being kind.
So these are decorative black metal poles that are in keeping with the style of a street light. But instead of being this big around, they're this big around. So
Any other questions for Kevin on change order number 3? Would entertain a motion to approve change order number 3. Doesn't sound like we have a choice, right, from NDOT?
I'll make a motion, we approve change order number 3 in the amount of $26,961.11.
Okay, we have a motion to approve change order number 3. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, change order number 3 is approved. Thank you very much, Kevin.
thank you.
All right, that concludes the change orders. Now I have bid authorization for streets, Oak Street, Hamilton Street, and Sycamore Street.
While I'm up here, I might as well do this. Last meeting, we asked for authorization to proceed on bidding of several streets, several projects throughout the city. After working through the Pazer plan, working with Lana and Larry, they would like to add 3 streets to that list, and that is Oak Street from Noble to Green, Hamilton Street from Noble to Sycamore, and Sycamore Street from East Street to Hamilton Street to our street resurfacing program for the year. And we'd like authorization to proceed with bidding, obviously subject to legal review and of course Indiana state bid law for these 3 additional street projects.
Okay. Any questions for Kevin concerning the authorization? Okay, would entertain a motion to authorize bids or solicitation for bids or quotes for the resurfacing of Oak Street, Hamilton Street, and Sycamore Street.
I make a motion that we authorize the city engineer to go out for bids for the street improvements on Oak Street, Hamilton, and Sycamore Street.
Okay, we have a motion to authorize. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, those bids have been authorized. At this point, too, you want to also authorize the, for Grant Street. So to clarify, that's for the, Rob, maybe what's the best way to authorize to move forward on negotiations concerning the Grant Street NDOT project?
With Butler.
Yeah, Butler, yeah.
Yeah, I think we just need a motion to move forward with the contract.
So based on the scoring, again, Butler, Fairman, Cipher was the highest scored based on NDOT scoring sheets for the Grant Street project. So we would want to move, now if we can, we would start negotiations with them. If we can't come to a price, then we would move on to the second place firm. But would need a motion to authorize moving forward on, it's negotiated design services for Grant?
Yeah, it's design and construction inspection services, and design services would include environmental document preparation, preliminary engineering, final construction plan engineering, as well as then construction inspection services. Again, this would just be authorizing me, again, subject to legal review, to negotiate a contract for those services. That contract would come back to here for authorization to execute that contract. And of course, part of this process is NDOT has monies that they have allocated for for payment of these design services as part of the project. So that would be part of this ongoing negotiation. So the way the process works with NDOT, this was an NDOT issued RFP. We've reviewed those letters of interest. We've scored that per the NDOT's required scoring system. We now then negotiate a contract with them. If we can't come to terms with this, with that consultant, which could include cost terms, we can then dismiss them and negotiate with the second place finisher.
Okay. Who's the second?
You know what? I'm not for sure. I'm not for sure. Okay. I believe it. Well, I shouldn't say.
Just tell me later after you look it up.
Okay, so looking for approval to move forward with negotiations with Butler, Fairman, and Seifert concerning design and construction inspection for the Grant Street NDOT project.
I'd make a motion to authorize Kevin to negotiate with Butler, Fairman, and Seaford for the required items that we have in that, okay?
Okay, for Grant Street. Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
All right, that has, are you said opposed or in favor, Dick? I'm sorry.
No, I was
Okay.
I was okay. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No worries.
Speak up quick.
Just want to make sure. Okay, that has been approved. All right, sorry, a lot of business tonight, everyone. Next is approval of design service contract for the spray ground / splash pad in Admiral Longley Park. John or Kevin, one of you?
Kevin.
All right. We'll give John the assist here. I'm already up here. I might as well keep going. I'm on a roll. What we have is a proposal from Context Landscape Architecture Design for the design of a spray pad, splash pad at the Abner Longley Park. This is an all-encompassing design proposal that includes design development, preparation of construction documents, bidding assistance, architectural, MEP, and structural support for most likely what would be a building to house the pool filtering equipment. That total for design services is $38,500, and then we have also part of the proposal reimbursables, including the topographic survey and geotechnical investigation, that bring the grand total aggregate contract amount to $46,600. So what we would be asking for, what John and I would be asking for, would be authorization to proceed with the execution of a contract in keeping with this proposal, obviously subject to legal review, and we would ask that perhaps the mayor be authorized to execute the contract pending legal review.
John, you want to say anything?
He covered it very well.
No? Okay.
The money's already been appropriated too. The park board did select that to go forward with the engineering. So park board has already passed all this also.
Okay, great. Okay, any further discussion from the board? Okay, this time I would entertain a motion to approve the approval to execute the design contract for the splash pad in Admiral Longley Park, pending final legal review and execution by the mayor.
Make a motion, we approve the design service contract for the splash ground at Admiral Longley Park, subject to legal review and signing by the mayor.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that has been approved. Glad to see that project's moving forward.
Thank you.
Great. You done, Kevin?
That's all I have.
Okay, good. All right. All right, that concludes Kevin's portion of the evening. So next item I have up here is a request for street closure from the Boys and Girls Club concerning Main Street. You wanted to step forward here?
Good evening, board. My name is Melissa Smith. I'm the executive director for Lebanon Area Boys and Girls Club. And we are requesting partial street closure for our annual backpack attack, now called Backpack United. This will be on Saturday, July 28th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're asking for the street closure from 7 a.m. until noon. The location would be from the VFW on over to the entrance of Royal Cleaners. So Royal Cleaners would still have access for their customers into their parking lot. And so would the neighbors to us. So I can show you the
It'd be great.
the map, a little bit of a map. Switch that.
Can you spin that around for us? Excellent.
This way?
Keep going. A little bit more. There we go.
Okay. Does it go out?
Yeah. I think you zoom out on the controls there.
Oh, right there, sorry. Okay. So this is the front of the club. Over here would be the VFW. And on this side there's 2 homes, and then Royal Cleaners.
So it's really just right there in front of the club?
Yep, right there in front.
Okay. And you said that's July 28th?
This Saturday, July 28th.
Okay.
We do plan to give out over 800 backpacks to children in the Boone County area. We will have free haircuts that we provide to them. I think we have 9 hairstylists already booked. Vision and hearing screenings. We give out free socks and underwear. Lots of other nonprofits and resources in the community that will be there with booths, fire truck, the Dare car, I think 4 different mascots, local mascots. It's an awesome opportunity to serve our children here in the Boone County area.
Yep, so. Excellent. Yeah, it's a great event, always a great turnout, and getting the kids what they need to get ready for school, so
and
always great.
Lots of other donations too, some minor snack and food donations, Dairy Queen, Scott Barrett, water from Colligan. So.
Okay. Any other questions from Melissa? Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve the street closure request for Saturday, July 28th from 7 a.m. to noon. That would be on Main Street in front of the Boys and Girls Club. You can just say so moved if you want.
I make a motion we approve the street closure request for the Boys and Girls Club there on Main Street.
Okay. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? All right, that is approved. Thank you very much. All right, next item up is the street closure request for the Soda Pop Festival. John from Periwinkles.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. Yes, we're going to have a Soda Pop Festival. It's our 3rd annual one, and we'd like some limited street closures right in front of Periwinkles, in front of the library. And I don't know if you received anything about a diagram.
We do. We have that.
To the office. Do
Yep.
you all?
Yep, we have it.
Does anyone have any questions for me? What I want to do?
So just remind us what time it's on, the date, and
I'd
then
like
the
it
time.
closed at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And we're going to have operations there 10:30 to 4:30. So 4:30 would be the close time.
Okay. So do you want like an extra half hour or so for cleanup?
It sounds okay, yes.
All right. Okay, so 7 to 5. Okay.
7 to 5.
And then remind me of the date again.
It's August 4th.
August 4th.
That's 2 Saturdays from now.
Okay. I know it's been. I know we're trying to grow this event. I know it's always been a lot of fun for people that have been able to make it, and obviously a great showcase for your business right there, and the kids always have fun with it too. So.
And we're really partnering with the Morning Dove Therapeutic Riding. It's a good organization.
Oh, great.
And they've been putting a lot of work into it, having some very fun things going on.
Awesome. Great. Any questions for John concerning the street closure? It's on Washington Street from Meridian to slightly past
East.
Slightly past East, and then as well as portions of East Street between south of PNC to the alleyway between Meridian or Washington and.
I just have a question, knowing that this is not the first time for this. I mean, is this diagram, I mean, the closure the same as it's been in the past?
No, I had Meridian Street closed in the past, but since you got construction going over there on the square, I left that street open. So it's less closures.
I just raise a question of why it's necessary to close Northeast Street, since with Meridian Street now being closed, downtown, any kind of north-south access is tough or tougher. And if that intersection is closed, that shuts off another straight shot through from north and south traffic. And for the space that you're using, I'm just curious as to why you want to close that intersection off.
This is an area where we have a car show going on. So it's a soda fest, and then they have a classic car show, and that's where we were going to park cars.
Alan, it's only for a day. I mean, it's been.
Yeah.
It's another downtown event, so we're
No,
not.
I'm just saying. I just had a question to what
So I thought I needed
you've
the
answered it.
space.
You've got a car show that's going to go in
Yes.
there. Okay.
I know it's scaled back from previous years as well too. So
True.
Okay, any other questions for John or discussion from the board?
Are you going to have access to PNC? People are going to be able to get in
Yes,
to
and I've
PNC
talked to
out?
PNC, the library, and the First
Okay.
Baptist Church and the Reporter. They're all okay with the plan.
Good.
Okay. Okay, at this time I would, any other further discussion? Okay, would entertain a motion to approve the street closure request for the Soda Pop Festival on August 4th from 7 a to 5 p.m.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
I'm sorry.
Motion and a second. All those here say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, street closure request is approved. All right, next street closure. Thank you, John. All right, next street closure request is from the Church of the Nazarene on Garfield Street. Please step forward.
Mayor and Board, I'm Shirley Newman, representing Lebanon First Church of the Nazarene, that's located at 1122 Garfield Street, across from Harney School. We're requesting closure of Garfield Street between Camp Street and Essex Streets on August the 5th. We'd like it closed from 8:30 to 6. We're doing a block party that starts at noon and will be finished at 3. I've already talked to the United Methodist Children's Home, and they are fine with that closure. They are on the east side of Garfield. In fact, they're doing construction there and I don't think they're using their driveway right now. We will have the police department doing fingerprinting. The sheriff's Deputy Watson will be there with his K-9 Zeke. We'll have a fire truck from LFD. We with them will be there, and we hope an ambulance. Chad Engel Art, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he does caricatures, and he's awesome. He's a local man. He did this for us last year, and all of this is free. Bouncy houses, we have other activities, food. And Papa John's Pizza will be there serving pizza to kids 10 and under free, and he is charging for additional ones.
Okay, great. Any questions for this?
I just got one.
Yep.
I'm assuming all these so far, and the next one coming, they've all contacted police, fire, and street department.
Yeah, we all
got
work
it
it through
all
that
in
process,
place.
and
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, this is just the kind of formal. We work with them before they come here to make sure we're.
I know,
yeah.
I just wanted to make sure everybody's been contacted.
This is our third
I figured they
annual.
would, or they wouldn't have been there, so.
Yep. Yeah. This is they've done this years before as well too.
Okay.
So. Okay. Would entertain a motion to approve the street closure request from the Lebanon First Church of the Nazarene
I
on
move
August
that we-
5th from 8:30 to 6 p.m. on Garfield Street.
I make a motion that we approve the request for street closure for the First Church of the Nazarene.
Okay. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank
That
you.
has
We'd
been
love to
approved.
see you there at the bouncy houses.
Thank you very much. Okay, and final street closure request. I do think 4 in a night is my record. Is a request from Hickory Meadows for a block party. The presenter's not here tonight, so I'll just read her email. This is from Yvonne Kozlowski, resident of Hickory Meadows subdivision. We have a national night out event planned for the neighborhood on Tuesday, August 7th. The event will run from 7 to 8:30 p.m. They are requesting a road closure for this event. Ideally, closure would be from 6 to 9 p.m., would allow for setup and teardown. Lebanon Police, Fire, and Boone County Sheriff's offices are all invited to attend. I've included a map of the subdivision. The closure will be on Sweet Cherry Meadows between Crimson and Clover. There are only 7 houses affected, one of them being mine. Also, traffic can be rerouted and to go around a block for minimal inconvenience. Thank you for your consideration. Due to my work schedule, I will not be able to attend the meeting. Please contact me if more information is needed. So we have it on the map. It's as she mentioned, it's on Sweet Cherry Lane. It's a part of a neighborhood, but it's pretty minimal from there's still traffic can get around. Any questions, concerns from the board on this, approving this request? Okay. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the street closure request from 6 to 9 p.m. on Sweet Cherry Meadows between Crimson and Clover on August 7th. Is there a second, or is there a motion?
Well, I make a motion we approve this closure.
We have a motion to approve.
Yeah.
And a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those approved, those opposed? All right, street closure request is approved. All right, thank you, everyone. Sorry, that was a little, we had a lot of events coming up here in August. That concludes what I have on my agenda for new business. Is there anything, other new business coming before the board? Okay, this time I would move on to claims. Actually, before we move on to claims, any public comment for the board? Okay, this time I would now move on to claims and would entertain a motion concerning the claims.
I make a motion we approve the claims.
We have a motion to approve the claims. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, claims are approved. And would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we are adjourned, and our next Board of Works will be Monday, August 13th at 5:30 p.m. Thanks for watching.